the Giant 40. Fredrickson all by himself. Cuts back beautifully.
Whoa, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. Welcome to the Gridiron. And before we get started, I just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's been watching my videos. Thank you. If you can maybe give this video a thumbs up or possibly leave a comment below, maybe even share this video, it would mean so much to me. But at least anyway, just thank you so much for just taking time out of your day to check out this video. Thank you. Well, it starts. Matt Gano, he was released by the Falcons, so the Giants wind up signing him. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, what his role winds up being. But he only played 2 seasons with the Falcons. He missed the entire 2021 season. Oops. My dog here. He wants to get in the video. He had a neck injury. So he missed the whole entire last season, but apparently he's healthy now. Knock on wood. Neck injury. And so apparently he's ready to go. So don't know exactly how much he signed for, but it wasn't going to be a whole heck of a lot. I can guarantee you that much. Also, a little bit interesting news here. John Feliciano, all right, was just released by the Bills, all right, as a little cost cutting. So, but he was from the Bills now. All right, now last year I believe he played left guard, right guard, and center. That doesn't mean the Giants are going to sign him, but it's just interesting. He was with the Bills. He has some flexibility in there. That's something the Giants need. Giants need bodies. Shane's familiar with them. Dable's familiar with them. Offensive Bob Johnson, the offensive line coach, is familiar with them. So there's familiarity there. So I'll have to wait and see if they go ahead and once again say. I think he was making a few $1 million with them. So I mean, it was like $3 million he was making with them. So that was the cost cutting. So he's played 7 years. The first 4, I believe, were with the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders at the time. So I mean, whatever he signs, if the Giants were to sign him, it wouldn't be much more than a couple $1 million once again. So yeah, so it'd be interesting if they want to pick him up. So we have to see, if anything arises from that. But now in 2020, one nice thing with Gano, he played left tackle, he played right tackle, and he played left guard. Once again, got some flexibility there. In 2019, he played in only 2 games, but he played in right guard 1 game. He played in left guard in the other game. So once again, he got some flexibility. So in the 2 seasons hasn't played center, but he's played left tackle, left guard, and right tackle. So he's got so that's good. Very, very good. He doesn't have super type grades though. Neither. I mean, if we were to pick up Feliciano, he doesn't have super duper grades either. I'm going to go over his grade in a few minutes here. But I mean, 2019, his first year, when he only played 2 games, it was a 57.3. 2020, he graded out a 54.9, according to Pro Football Focus. All right. Now, as I said, Pro Football Focus, you can argue about them all the time, but the guy grades out at 54.9. He's not, I mean, he wasn't, if they're off or whatever, I mean, it's not like he graded out at a 95 and they gave him a 50, I mean, his 54 is like, certainly not the worst, okay, but certainly not the best either, so. But you'll notice that in a couple minutes here, 54.9 is kind of what the Bills, all right, we're dealing with, all right, and the Bills went to the gone to the playoffs quite a bit. So I don't know with Gano if he'll be actually just some depth, or if he'll be vying for a starting job. Don't know. I said because he's got he's played left guard, he's played right guard. So he's played different positions, and he's played right tackle too. So, right. So we'll have to wait and see. I mean, if he's going to be going up against Parrott for the right tackle position, who exactly knows? Now in 2017. Now this is just to go to show you, right? Like what Shane might be thinking. Okay, so we started 2017. All right, that's when Brandon Beane, was drafting with the Bills. Shane came in 2017, but he came in to the Bills after the draft was over. All right, but 2017, the Bills took these are the offensive linemen that they took since 2017 to 2021. All right, so the last 5 drafts. 2017, they drafted Dion Dawkins, the guard, in the 3rd round. All right. 2018, they took Wyatt Teller, guard, in the 5th round. 2020, they drafted nobody. Well, they had 7 picks. They didn't take one offensive lineman. All right. 2021, they took Spencer Brown. He was right tackle and a left tackle. They took him in the 3rd round. 2021, Tommy Doyle, he played right tackle and left tackle. Took him in the 5th round. Then they took Jack Anderson in the 7th round, but that last year he played for the Eagles. All right, but they took him in the 7th round. Also in 2019, they took Cody Ford he was a tackle. They took him in the 2nd round. All right, so you'll notice, all right, they over the past 5 drafts, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they picked up 7 offensive linemen. Now, obviously, not one of them was in the 1st round. All right, so I mean, it might give you a little insight into what maybe Shane's kind of thinking about. All right. Now, if you go to last season with the Bills, all right, you got Ryan Bates. He played last season. He's an undrafted free agent, Ryan Bates. For the Bills last year, he played in 17 games. He had 4 starts. He graded out at 66.3. He played center. He played left tackle. He played left guard. He played right guard. Flexibility there. Then you got Ike Botger. All right. Last year, he's an undrafted free agent. He played left guard and right guard. He played in 15 games. He had 10 starts. He graded out a 59.8. And you had Spencer Brown last year. He played left tackle and right tackle. He was drafted in the 3rd round. He played 13 games. He had 10 starts. He graded out a 59.3. Then you have their highest graded offensive lineman, Dion Dawkins. He was taken in the 2nd round, but he was picked number 63. So basically, he was darn near almost a 3rd rounder. I mean, a couple picks away, and he's a 3rd rounder. All right, but Dion Dawkins, he played left tackle. He played 16 games. He had 15 starts. He graded out a 79.4. So now to kind of give you a little comparison there, their left tackle was a 79.4. The Giants' left tackle, Andrew Thomas, was a 78.9. Almost identical grades. And Andrew Thomas's ankle was giving him problems all year long. So, I mean, Andrew Thomas, if he was healthy, probably would have graded in the 80s. But it is what it is. But then you got Tommy Doyle last year. He was a 5th rounder. He played in 11 games. He didn't have any starts, but he played in 11 games. He graded out a 54.3. John Feliciano, okay, we were talking about. That's the one, they just let him go. He was making $3.2 million. They let him go to save some cap money, right? He was a 4th rounder. He played left guard, right guard, and center. He played 9 games last year. He had 6 starts. He graded out a 56.9. Cody Ford. He was a 2nd rounder. He was a little disappointing here last year anyway. 2nd rounder, he played right guard. He played 15 games. He had 7 starts. He graded out a 46.5. Ooh, very disappointing. Mitch Morse, right? He was a 2nd rounder, but he was drafted by the Chiefs. He played center. He was their center last year. Right? He played in all 17 games, 17 starts. He graded a 63.4. And you have Darrell Williams, who was a 4th rounder, who was drafted by the Panthers, who was drafted by ding 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 Dave Gettleman when he was with the Panthers. He played last year. He had played 17 games. He had 17 starts. He played right tackle and right guard. He graded out a 66.8. So nothing. They have no offensive linemen who graded in the 80s. They had one who graded out in the 70s, and they had 2 guys who graded out in the 60s. Bunch of 4 other guys graded out in the 50s. One guy graded out in the 40s. So I mean, like if you look, wind up at Gano, Matt Gano, he graded out 54.9, which is kind of comparable to what the Bills were playing with last year as far as the Pro Football Focus grades. All right. So let's see. None of these picks was a first rounder. All right. The Giants have one first rounder. Dion Dawkins graded out. He was the highest one. He graded out a 79.4. Dion Dawkins, he was their highest paid. He was $11.4 million. He was their highest priced offensive lineman. Now, he played through his rookie deal, and then they re-signed him. All right, so basically, his first 4 years, he wasn't making much at all or anything. All right, so then you have Mitch Morse. Last year, he was making $8.3 million for him. So had one guy making 11, one guy making 8. All right, nothing, no $16 million Nate Solder deals going on there, right? Then you have a couple other guys here. Tommy Doyle. Last year for them, he made $738,000. Ryan Bates last year for him made $850,000. Spencer Brown, $880,000. Cody Ford, he got paid $2 million last year. John Feliciano, who they just let go, he made $3.2 million. I got Ike Botger, he made $2 million last year, and Darrell Williams was making $6 million. So I mean, they're not spending a lot of money on their offensive line. 19, 25, you got like 30, 33, $34 million between all of them. I mean, that's not a heck of a lot of money. Dion Dawkins was drafted by Buffalo, and his rookie contract was up, so they re-signed him, to a nice deal, but I mean, they didn't break the bank. I mean, it wasn't, $15 to $20 million. They signed him for just $11 million. So is what you might want to, kind of thinking like what kind of like Shane's kind of thinking going on through his head. All right. So when the draft coming off, it might be kind of hard. I mean, if Neal and Ekwonu were there, might be a little difficult to pass up on, or maybe Cross, because Cross, a lot of people talk about Charles Cross being the best pass blocker as of right now, right, in the draft. That doesn't mean Ekwonu or Neal can't catch him or maybe surpass him, but Cross, as of right now, is the best pass blocker. But I mean, if you look at Buffalo's last, if you go back to 2015, their last 7 drafts. All right, this might give you a little flavor once again of kind of what Joe Shane's talking about. All right, we're thinking about as far as going into this draft. In 2021, the Buffalo Bills' first and second round picks were defensive linemen. In 2020, they didn't have a first rounder. All right, but their first pick was a second round pick, and they took a defensive end. 2019, all right. Their first round selection was Ed Oliver, defensive tackle. 2018, okay, they took Josh Allen. He's the only one of their first selections, first picks that they had since 2015 who was an offensive player. And that's because, they needed a quarterback. He was there, he presented himself, they made the pick. Obviously, as you say, the rest is history. I mean, he's got another 10, 12, or X amount of years ahead of him. Probably more if he wants to. But, they got themselves, they did good, and they made the pick, right? So you figure Josh Allen, 2018. But they also, the next 4 picks in 2018, including they had another number 1 pick, all right, they were all defense. Right, so they took Josh Allen, and then their next 4 picks were defense. Their first selection in 2017, first round selection, was a cornerback. 2016, their first pick, their second pick, their third pick were defense. 2015, their first round selection was a cornerback. All right, so once again, it's kind of give you a little, possibly, I know the 15, 16, they were before Shane was even there and everything, but they seem to kind of load up on the defense. Now, if you wind up looking at like what's kind of a little interesting here is like what Buffalo has on their coverage, according to Pro Football Focus. Last year, Buffalo's coverage, they were number 6 overall. Their coverage grade was an 83.3. So they take their, they kind of like where the Patriots are. The Patriots, never seem to have a phenomenal front seven. I mean, maybe going back in the early 2000s, when you had McGinnis in there and, a bunch of some of the other guys, but I mean, it was probably a little more stronger back then. But I mean, the way it is now, what it was with Gilmore, the Patriots seem to build, the secondary, from the back to the front, and that's kind of like seems like what the Bills seem to do. They build from the back, get the coverage with the secondary and all, and then they work their way up front. All right, so then you look at Buffalo's top 2 coverage guys last year. Both of them were safeties. Jordan Poyer was graded out as 89.2, his coverage grade, safety. Their other safety, Micah Hyde, all right, he graded out at 88.3. Absolutely phenomenal. Both of them graded out almost a 90, so both their safeties. So now this is something that possibly, right, Shane might be thinking about when we go to the draft, because Kyle Hamilton, who did not test out very well at the combine, might I add, might be there at number 5. A lot of people are giving him high praise and everything. Some people, a little, because especially he didn't grade out that well. Some people think he might wind up as an outside linebacker because he, as they said, he wasn't very fast, and he had some problems at the combine. But I mean, if Hamilton's there, and you can maybe somehow use him as a safety, right? If you have Xavier McKinney, because I don't know, this Logan Ryan's be here this year. As a cost-cutting measure, Logan Ryan might be going next year, because we're going to save some money if we can get rid of him. But I think we have to keep him this year, because I mean, if we're going to get rid of him, it basically his whole salary is just would be like dead cap. But I'm saying is that if Kyle Hamilton's there, don't be surprised if we take him. If maybe at pick number 7, maybe a little Sauce on the side, Mr. Sauce Gardner, possibly might want to taking him. Obviously can't guarantee nothing, but I mean, they should. I would be shocked if they didn't have their pick of one out of the top, at least 2 cornerbacks in this draft. But I mean, who knows? Thibodeau might fall to him at number 5, right? So the way the Bills have been drafting, all right, over the past 7 drafts anyway, defense is a premium. The Giants aren't going for a quarterback, all right, because they're going to give Daniel Jones at least one more year. But so defense is a premium, and especially if the Giants wind up getting rid of James Bradbury, I don't see any way in heck they can possibly keep the guy, because they're trying to shave off some money saved over the salary cap. And if they can get rid of him, that would be a huge savings. So if they get rid of him, who's going to be their number 1 cornerback? Right? So if they can draft a cornerback, especially one of these top 2 picks, that would be absolutely huge. And then I said, and then there's, as what they've done in the past and what they've done the past few years and all, as far as their team, they run an offense. Obviously doesn't hurt having Josh Allen. Don't get me wrong, okay. But they run a very good offense, and they don't have high-priced. They don't have first-round offensive linemen, right, anywhere on their roster. So the Giants, Giants got Andrew Thomas, but other than that, I mean, what Joe Shane might want to start doing is in the 2nd round, 3rd round, 4th round, as we start building the offensive line. So don't be surprised if the Giants with pick number 5 and pick number 7. go take defense, just based strictly on the history of the way the Buffalo Bills have been drafted in the past. Well, as always, guys, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to check out this video. You guys stay safe out there and go Giants. Woo!